More and more people and companies are interested in sustainable development, and more are looking for inspiration to find solutions and good ways to interact with the public, to engage it and communicate projects. This is what also moved Luis Prieto to start MedBlue and to organize a week-long event in Madrid, Spain, full of art, cultural activities, meetings, companies, institutions, and the public. In the words of Luis, we are failing nature, and the data and numbers from the scientific community are not good. We need to act fast and get everyone to the table using a framework like the Sustainable Development Goals by the United Nations. So let's see how he's doing it and how people are reacting. Enjoy! Sustainability at Work is a podcast about sustainability in the workplace and in companies. My name is Samara and I've been working with sustainability for almost 10 years. Hello and welcome everybody to Sustainability at Work. Welcome, Luis.
Hello, thank you.
Happy to have you all here. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time for this.
No, of course. Thanks for having me. It's a great pleasure and looking forward to it.
Great. So, Luis, I'm very happy to have you here because I think this is a different interview from what we have in the past. I think it's very interesting because this time we're focusing more on how to communicate sustainability to the big public. Recently, you had a great experience, a big event in Madrid. So I think you have a lot to share there of how it went and what were the reaction. But first, can you tell me a little bit more about what you do with MedBlue and how you came to this event?
Yeah, for sure, Samara. It's very simple. So I was looking for information about sustainable development and best practices, and it was difficult to find. It was 4 years ago. And as you know, I lived in San Francisco for 4 or 5 years. And when coming back to Spain, I found that it was a lack of information for not only for companies, but also for individual citizens. So I started to just dig in and to find that it was difficult to find any platform, physical or digital, to gather information and to, and to learn about how can you contribute to make a better world, So at the beginning, there was a personal need, and I found that I have this necessity. There's so many people that they were asking the same questions, and corporations that they were also doing great things, but nobody knew. Other corporations, they were not doing anything, and I would like to, as a citizen, as an individual, I would like to act and to buy products that are produced by sustainable companies. And the decisions that I made these days, for sure, they take into account sustainability criteria. So it was a personal need, and then one thing led to another, and launched a summit in Cádiz in 2019, and on the frame of the United Nations SDGs, that I think that is the frame that we all have to base our contributions. So this, as you know, there are 17 SDGs from sustainable, to end extreme poverty, to partnership and alliances. That is the 17th. And I work on that frame, and then we launch summits and events that gather so many other citizens and people, companies, institutions that would like to contribute to that end.
So the idea is to create really a database of best practices and inspiration, both for companies and for the citizens, right?
Yeah, well, there's institutions, companies, and the citizen. Everybody's welcome, nobody's excluded. And what we are taking care is that we put a lot of energy on picking the right companies. So, because as you know, these days there's a lot of greenwashing. And we care about credibility. So we have a bidding process or a validation process. So the companies that we work with, they need to be like validated. Not all the companies are big corporation. As you know, to become a big corporation is a process that is very, very demanding. We, as a matter of fact, my company is becoming a big corporation, and we are adapting some things. That's I mean, and that's the way to go. But we demand that the projects or the companies that they interact with us, they have a validation process. And but yeah, everybody's welcome. And yeah, it's a platform now. It's physical. We are starting to invest on the digital platform because there's so many people that ask us, do you know any company that they are doing this in this spectrum? And there are other companies that they say, hey, we would like to reach an audience. So at the end, we need to work on a digital platform that works 24/7 the whole year.
So can you tell us a little bit about the event in Madrid? What was that? Just take us there and to visit the best installation that you had.
Yes, for sure. It was a 1-week event, and it was around the 22nd of April. As you know, is the Earth Day, and there's millions of people doing things all around. And so we have created the event, and we use, we have keynote speakers, innovation hub, we have sports and entertainment, music, and awards. So the 5 Oceans Awards to persons or institutions or companies that they are working on behalf of sustainable development. And we have our success is based on that we would like to democratize the access to the information. So everybody is able to just participate, to learn, to have fun, or to contribute. And the way to do so is through art and culture. Because as you know, it's so powerful when you get emotions, when you get to interact with an art installation, with a poem, with music, you are moved. And you are moved to act. And we have invested a lot on having a super good artistic proposal. So in different locations in the city, we have installed art and culture, and it was a great success because then so many other people, not only that week, but then afterwards, they were able to visit. All the art installations, they were based on the Sustainable Development Objectives, the SDGs. So it was a great, great success, and we're going to keep on going on that direction because then everybody can just, it doesn't matter if you're a 5-year-old or 80, but you will just see something and ask you questions, and then you will read about the installation, and then, you know, you can contribute, you can think, you can move, you can feel. And that's how I think for us, that's how change need to be produced from your mind, but also from your heart.
And I thought that was particularly interesting event because many events are based on your keynote speech, but as you say, they remain close building, and they don't have this interaction with the people. So how did the citizens answer to the event?
Well, they were very happy because everybody was like, wow, this is something good, this is something new, this is something neat. Because as you know, SDGs are super abstract. They are very difficult to understand. They are away from a personal perspective, and they need to don't you think, Samara, that they need to be grounded and they need to be understood? So the best way to do it is just to just use art to simplify and to put an abstract concept into something that is real. So everybody was very happy because, as a matter of fact, you know that we have a problem with all the trash that is in the oceans. So one of the installations that was super celebrated was about fishing nets on an incredible and beautiful sculpture with different colors. They were collected all around the world. And it was so spectacular because so colorful. It was like gray, blue, yellow, pink, because the fishing nets, they need to be like hidden in the ocean, in the seas. So the fishes, they go there, and they wouldn't notice. But the thing is that this is not sustainable if the fishing nets, they are not collected afterwards. And only 1% of all the fishing nets that are left behind, they are collected. So that was a way everybody was like, what is this? And, there's a story behind. The artist will tell you, you will be like shocked with the sculpture, and then you will read that all this information, so you will be moved to act and to think, where am I when I'm going to the fish market, or when I am buying, why I'm going to, when I am going to a restaurant. I should be worried about where the fish come from. Is it from far away? Is it from the coast? Is it season of that specific fish? And that way you will be like, and everybody was like, wow, now I understand. Now I understand the objective 14th, that is life underwater. Now I understand why it's important to ask. Now it's important, how can I contribute? Now I understand the problem. Now I am part of the solution. And we have created like 17 installations. So imagine, one of them was about climate change, the other one was about equality, integration, extreme poverty. So it's like first time. I think that, we are going to keep on going with this proposal, but this is something that we are so happy that we were first movement that we are using art and culture to make an impact, a positive impact. And it's not only something nice to see, but it's something that is going to make you think and feel, and it's going to make you act.
Yeah, sometimes, especially when I see art involved in sustainability, sometimes the risk is that you get to the first stage, the surprise, but then it's difficult to get to the action phase. I don't know if you had this problem when you were thinking about the installation. And I saw that you have in your event also some labs where people could interact and learn. So I thought that was really an action activity.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
Well, your first question, of course, is difficult to act. It's difficult to take good decisions. That's why it's important to have a hub or a frame or something that what that you are doing is already validated, because otherwise it's impossible. We are so busy, we have like family, we need to go to work, we need to go back, and we need to simplify everything, Mm-hmm. So I think that is a little bit also unfair that the citizen is asked to just solve the problem. So institutions, big corporations, and big movements are the ones that they need to just, make things better. And then about your second question is, I don't know, what do you think? Answers are, what is your personal view on that?
No. I was mostly wondering how the labs and the interaction laboratories went and how people were connected.
Yeah. But would you like to, as a citizen, because it was focused on citizens, as a citizen, would you like to be part of an innovation hub, and then you can, yes, because it was open to everybody?
That is always challenging, I have to say, because sometimes the problem with I agree with you, the problem with sustainability are so big and so systemic that citizens are left with weak possibilities to interact and have big, especially in a lab, to have big changes there. So it's always challenging. But I still think that maybe an interaction lab can help in fixing that first surprise, that idea of the problem, and inspire the questions. It will not solve the problem, of course, I guess.
Yeah, we will like more of an inspiration, and maybe, you never know, because out of the blue, you can have an incredible idea that is a spark from an innovation hub, and it was a great success because people, they were just signing in, and citizens, we need to have a voice. Sometimes we are too away from the institutions and the governments, so we give the opportunity to people to just interact and say, and how the cities, they need to be transformed into more environmentally friendly. We need to just have the say of everybody, sometimes.
Yeah, so, I'm sorry. No, but we have in a previous episode, we had the chief resilient officer of the city of Milan, and he talked a lot about everything that is sustainability in cities need to be based on communities and that interaction between people and institutions. So yeah.
So yeah, we're going to keep on going with that also, workshops, innovation, and we like to think that the citizen is part of the problem and in part of the solution. So we need to have a say.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned also institutions and companies, how they come in your events and how you plan them. What's their role?
Yeah, well, companies, they were invited to showcase their solutions and to sponsorship opportunities that we bring to them, so they could interact as a sponsor, but also as a showcasing products. And institutions, I think they are very important. It's very important not to exclude anybody. Institutions, we have invite them to act as facilitators. What is the city hall in Madrid doing for in order to transform the city so it's more sustainable, about mobility, about buildings, about integrity, and then we have reached an agreement with the government of Spain. So our project has been named as one of the strategic projects for the region, for Spain. So it helps us to have more credibility and to attract more people, not only like companies and institutions, but also to individuals.
So I don't know if you had this problem, but we talked a lot about this in the previous podcast. Sometimes when you try to package a message about sustainability, especially for the public, you have to struggle with simplifying it too much or keeping it complex. It's a little bit the struggle between simplicity and complex. These are complex problems, but we want to simplify them. What's the limit of making them too simple that you're losing the main message? And another thing often we're struggling with is giving the negative information about sustainability, but still keeping it positive. Did you struggle with these problems?
Yeah, it's tough. Well, of course, now everybody's speaking about sustainability, and it's not the same sustainability than sustainable development. Starting with that, the concepts. Also, climate change. They say we have to fight climate change. It's impossible to fight climate change. You need to adapt. You need to do other things. But the terminology, the vocabulary that we use worldwide, to me, is not accurate. So yeah, I struggle personally with some of the things that even United Nations, they are saying that we have to make peace with nature. To me, we don't have to make peace with nature. Nature hasn't just do anything to us, but help us and give us like great pleasure. It's the human being who has just destroyed the habitats. We have abuse of the ecosystem. We haven't been respectful with biodiversity. It's as simple as that. And we have, we are killers. We are, it's not. So we have to restore nature. And I struggle with that, that people, they don't understand the simple concept. It is that if we keep on going like that, nature is going to just get rid of us. So it's now or never. And we have like so many scientific community, 700 or more, that they have said that we have 10 years to reduce CO2 emissions. Otherwise, life on Earth is not going to be sustainable. That means that poor countries, they are going to suffer the consequences more than the rich ones. That is completely unfair also, because they you know. So to me, the question is super simple, is stop with all the bullshit and start with taking care of the planet. Otherwise, we're not going to survive. And it's time to do it now with your daily decisions, with your vote, we have to change our mindset. So to simplify is super important, and to be accurate about the message the same. And it's time to do it's not that complicated, you know, and we make things more complicated because, I don't know, there's a lot of interest in different industries, and then it gets complicated. But to simplify is absolutely essential on this. We need to make it happen as a community. We need to work together. It doesn't matter if Spain do something and Italy do a different thing and Portugal or China. It's like if we don't tackle this problem together globally, it's not going to happen, the change. And time, I mean, as you know, Samara, I mean, to tell you the truth, data is not good. We are producing more CO2, we are producing more plastic, biodiversity we are losing biodiversity. It makes me so sad because when you're in a position as a human being, as human beings, that we are on top overall the other species, we are responsible about them. We are responsible about the whales, about the elephants, about jungle, about the rainforest, about rivers, and we are failing drastically. And that's, as a society, and that's something that it has to stop. So this society is so immature and so poor on our values that we have need a girl of 14 years old to just raise awareness about the problem. What the heck, it's like, so this poor Greta is like, she was so moved for real data, based on real data. She is not an imagination of a girl. It's like real data that you can just ask the science community, real data. And she has a say. She was not going to the school and going to the parliament, not, like a striking. And then that movement has created something. But how immature and how blind is society that we need a 14-year-old girl from Sweden to raise awareness. And still we are not producing what we have to produce. It's like, so answering your question, the simple, the better, now or never. Stop what you are doing and dedicate part of your time to this environmental cause that needs us all,
Do you think that technology has a big role as a solution? I know you had Gunter Pauli at your event.
Yeah.
How do you see technology?
First science, then technology. On the frame of ethics and values. Technology used with philosophy, if you wish, Absolutely, technology, we need to explore new forms of energy. We need to change fast. We need to, for sure, we have been capable of doing incredible things, but we need to focus on the on the problem, and then use all the technology there and think 50 years from now, 100 years from now, not like short term. We need to think in not the next generation, in 10 generations. What kind of life they're going to have? How can we restore nature? How is going to be more sustainable? There's one problem, that is that life on Earth is overpopulated by human beings. As we grow, other species decrease. That is not sustainable, So we need to use technology, but first we need to use or minds to set up a plan. And technology, yeah, blockchain, cyber, cryptocurrencies, if they are not like killing the ecosystem with the mining thing, of course, we need to use them. But first, we need to set up a plan. And that's not technology, that's just will, common will, you know.
So how is Madrid and Spain doing in the big picture? How are they reacting? How are people in the public, how they think about sustainability, but also the institution and what they need to do in next steps?
Well, that's a good question. We have started something here in Madrid. As you know, Spain, Italy, the Mediterranean countries, they are incredible countries. It's a blessing to be here. The Mediterranean Sea is something fantastic. It's a closed sea. Everything that gets in, it doesn't get out. And to understand how Spain, Madrid, the Mediterranean countries, we are doing, we have to look up to Europe. And Europe is failing because we are so behind of the problem, you know. So we are trying things, but our ecosystems are so fragile that I don't know. I think we need to make it happen more quickly. We are doing things, but still, you know. Nowadays, everybody speaks about sustainable development. Yeah, but how? Give me the policies, the acts, the what are we exactly doing? You know, there's a lot of conversations. To me, we are speaking a lot. We are not acting enough.
You have hope for the green recovery money that is coming, that is going to change things?
The next generation funds, you mean, yeah, from Europe? Yes, I have hope on that. I have hope on that for sure. And yeah, we have to, in Spain, Italy, Greece, Portugal, we could just establish international hubs to implement solutions, because what will work here that is so fragile and so beautiful and so nice, it will work everywhere. So if there's a will from institutions and from governments and from the European Union, we could do fantastic. It could be something that, and yeah, well, I say that we have passed the exam by little.
Okay. So Luis, how did you get to taking care for this problem, and how did you get to this moment? You worked in the US.
Yeah.
But it was a different industry, right? You were.
Yeah.
So how did you get to this? How did you decide to dedicate your life to this?
Well, as you say, there's one life. Once that you are moved by a purpose that is above your personal, you know, little expectations and this and that, it's impossible not to follow, you know. And then also because there's so many people doing great things that it's like, of course, you know. And then you meet so many other individuals that they are like struggling, but little by little changing, and that's fantastic, you know, to be able to dedicate your life to contribute to something that is good. I mean, I'm already paid for that, you know. It's like every day is a good motivation, and much more the motivation than the frustration. And it's nice, yeah, it's a good, and you know, little by little I'm making a living. So, and I think that great corporations in the future, they are all no doubt going to contribute to create a better world. So let's say that we are pioneers, and at the beginning it's not easy, but it will have a good reward when the time comes.
I don't know if you agree, but that's my impression, having lived in the US and in Europe. I see that here they're communicating what they're doing in an amazing way. In Europe, there is a lot happening, great activities, great projects, but sometimes we are failing in the communication. And I felt you were saying the same thing now, saying that there are beautiful initiatives, but maybe they're not so known in the public because they're not well communicated sometimes. There's a lot happening, but it's lacking the good communication.
Well, yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good example with Spain. Spain, we do things, but we don't communicate enough. We don't believe that we are best in class worldwide. So we do things, and then and everybody does different things. We need to gather all of them, and we have to communicate them, and we need to. Yeah, there's something to work on. In US, maybe the things that they are doing, they are the same, but they communicate it so much better. And it looks like everybody's like, wow, you're amazed, no? And yeah, maybe we can work together on that.
Sure. So I think that's pretty much it. Yes, I do have another question. I've seen that you are looking for investors. What is the future of Matthew?
Well, it's a good question also. Yeah, we would like to have in Madrid best-in-class hub to work for sustainable development using technology, science, art, culture, entertainment, and sport. So we need investment to just keep going with our purpose. And at the beginning you have to invest, and then you will just scale. And then also we are investing on our digital platform. So we would like to have a platform where all the projects, not only big corporation, but other projects that they will have that they will have been validated, they could just have exposure and to meet a community of people or other companies that they are willing to interact. Because I haven't found a platform like that. And then we can just also, somehow help these companies or projects to find talent, a community, audience, and why not investment. And that is something that takes time. And as you know, technology needs to be developed. It's not that it's something like super complicated, but it needs to be put in context.
Mm-hmm. Last question I do to everybody. Is there a place or an activity that recharges you and reconnects you with positivity and everything, gives you energy?
Yes, good question. Good question, because I am having this opportunity to go on Friday, and I am just jumping into the ocean. And as you know, Madrid is like inland, and I'm going to Ibiza, and then I will just sail there and dive, and that's my recharging for short place, and I'm so looking forward to it.
Great. Perfect. Thank you so much. Have fun in Ibiza. Recharge everything for the new adventure next year. And thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you like this. And I see you next week. Thank you, Luis.
Thank you, Samara. And, drinks on me in Madrid.
Yeah, I will. Okay. Bye, Luis.